Hello everybody, we are going to be talking about the Seattle Kraken today, the team that could very well go from worst to first and has their eyes on a bigger prize. Now before we start, please make sure to subscribe to my channel if you are new to me, or new to hockey, whatever the case may be. I'd love to have you here along the way as I try to do this as a career. Now let's get into it. And Seattle, as we all know, if you're familiar with the league, is having a great turnaround season after their inaugural season was a disaster. Last season, the Kraken went 27-49-6, good enough for a 60-point campaign, while finishing last in their division, second worst in the Western Conference, and third worst in the league. But this year, they've already surpassed the point total from last season and needed only 47 games to pass their win total. And this is looking like a year where they could easily finish with 100 plus points on the season. So maybe, just maybe, the Emerald City is thinking championship or bust. Now, what's caused this quick 180, and can this team push for a Stanley Cup? In terms of what's caused a turnaround, a big thing is they're actually scoring goals. Last season, this proved to be a very, very big issue for the team, as they just had three 20-plus goal scorers and finished 29th in the league for goals for with 213. Now they're 5th in the league currently with a goals for of 177, and they are keeping it up, or if they keep it up at this rate, they'll score over 300 goals this season, shattering their total from last season, basically scoring almost 100 more goals on a campaign. And it's not just one guy either. You're looking at this, and while there are still some concerns about the fact that they don't have that go-to guy to be a 50-plus goal scoring machine or anything like that at the moment, the Kraken have depth, or at least they look like it. They have 12 players with at least 8 goals or more on the season, and 8 of those players have 10-plus goals already through this halfway-ish point in the year. And suddenly it seems like a lot of things can't go wrong for Seattle. Second overall pick, Matty Beniers, is currently set to miss a few games, but is the favorite for a Calder right now, or the Calder, and is really backing up what we saw early on from last season. And on top of that, GM Ron Francis is getting a lot of love, as you're looking at the Eli Tolvanen deal, as he was picked up off waivers from the Nashville Predators. The Finnish player was a first-round pick by the Preds in 2017. We've talked a bit about how the Predators really struggle, or at least it seems like to struggle, to develop their forwards, I feel like, or at least I think that's kind of a consensus from a lot of people. And the situation wasn't great. He was a healthy scratch, something like 7 games in a row. But he is up in the Pacific Northwest, and he's having a career year. I don't know. I'd have to take a look at his stats. But I do know that as of right now, he is really thriving. He has 10 goals in 15 games. That might be 10 points. I might have typed that in wrong. But with his new team, he's really gelled well with guys like Yanni Gord and Oliver Bjorkstrand. So that's good. To pick up a guy from waivers that is a first-round prospect, guy that was drafted a few years ago, hasn't really worked out in one environment, to get him and then to just see the results right away. We knew he had a good shot. We knew that he had that offensive potential, and for Seattle, this is big. And there's other stories too, like young defenseman Vince Dunn, set to eclipse the 60-point mark this season. That is part of what's going well for them. But with these and other things going perfectly right for the Kraken, are they really in the hunt for the Cup with how their past season just went? Well, the team will tell you yes, and for good reason. They're really good, and they are first in their division currently and have games in hand over the rest of the Pacific. So they very well could win their division, but that is not the same as winning a cup. There are concerns about how sustainable their offense is too. They're 5-on-5 especially. Their expected total is a lot lower than their actual total, and generally they don't get a crazy amount of scoring chances, and they're burying at a higher rate at the goals in the back of the net. So they're basically not getting a lot of chances like you'd hope, but when they are getting those chances, they're taking opportunity of them more often than not. But that's something where you worry about, is that sustainable? One thing they do particularly well though is getting medium danger chances for, and they really just do that, and I think high danger chances as well, where they're able to score at a higher rate than the rest of the league, or at least a good chunk of the league. But they're definitely not a team that's extremely dangerous all around at full strength, and they've really struggled to get shots down low, but it's not been a major issue for them yet, because yes, they have been getting the scoring goals, or the scoring opportunities, by getting the goals. While they don't come often in terms of the chances, the goals do, and they have a shooting percentage at 5-on-5 of 10.77, best in the league when I did these notes, which was yesterday morning. The other big concern though for me on whether or not they're a cup contender is goaltending. While you look at Seattle, and you understand that defensively they can be better than especially bottom tier teams and some other teams as well. And the fact that they're able to score goals right now, we looked at this team especially last year as a team that would be strong defensively. I am still a little worried about how poorly things have gone for them, and I think really it comes down to the Tendy situation. Right now, you've got Martin Jones, Philip Grubauer as their goalies, and neither one's really had a great year. I'm going to give Grubauer a little bit more of an excuse. The German has only played like 17 games, but you look at his game log, and it's Tampa Bay Lightning, Colorado Avalanche, Carolina Hurricanes. I even want to say the Boston Bruins in there. And it's just a lot of really good quality teams, and when they play those teams, Seattle really kind of lets them down by the chances they give up. My biggest concern, though, is Martin Jones, and he's had better results in front of him by the Seattle team and really continued to struggle. I really don't have anything against Jones, but he's not been the same guy since the 2017-18 season. He was part of that run for the Sharks to the Cup. They didn't win the Cup. Everybody said, oh my gosh, I love Martin Jones. I was on that craze too. But it doesn't look like he's coming back from that current slide that he's been on for a while now. And he's actually allowed 4+ goals in this season 13 times. It's a miracle that Seattle is really in the spot they're in. But again, they have been able to score a lot of goals. And that's kind of where you're at. If Jones is kind of that 1A guy or your starter, do you feel comfortable with that being the case to make that Cup run? I would say right now, I don't feel comfortable as picking them to be a probably even top 5 favorite for the Cup. If we go top 10, it might be a little different. I need to probably look through that. But right now, I look at this team, and yes, I like a lot of aspects about them. I like their forward depth, and I like some other things where I think with Dunn, it's really cool to see him have a great year this year. But I'm still worried about some other things. Injuries seem to be something that's kind of happening a little bit more often. They've got some guys that are out right now. The All-Star break will be good for them, hopefully. But again, you look at this too, you wonder about what happens if some of their better forwards go out. We talk about the depth, but look at the Oilers. If the Oilers lose some guys, as long as McDavid and Draisaitl in there, you're probably still going to be able to score goals. I worry about Seattle losing some top-line forwards and then really being in a pinch at this point in the year. Yes, you also have the ability to say maybe we have a star in the making in Matty Beniers. Absolutely. But as of right now, I don't look at any player on the Seattle roster. I would say you guys agree and say, as of right now, this is a McDavid level player, somebody that's top 10 in the league offensively, and that is part of the concern. Also, you have some other things like Jamie Alexiak, nothing against the guy, but he gets a lot of playing time, and I don't think he's worth the contract or the playing time. And I know people are going to say, oh, his quality of competition's better. I still don't think with what we've seen that he should get as much playing time as he does. And I also would say just because a guy is able to play against that better competition, you'd still like to see results. And I don't think they're getting that there. So I think that's kind of something that's bothering me here. And, Martin Jones, that is the biggest problem for me when I look at if I view them as a Cup contender or not. If Jones is a starter in net, I could see Seattle absolutely having a great game where they limit the breakaway chances, the odd man rush, where they're able to keep teams to the outside and limit zone entries, all that good stuff, where they're just able to play a clean defensive game. But Martin Jones, faces 27 shots, something like that, and he gives up 5. And you're just not going to win that way. You're just not going to be in a spot to play a clean game like that and then have that happen and then still try to come back and score 6 goals and win the game. I just don't feel confident in that. And I would say most of you don't feel confident in that either. And I would hope for them that they are in a good spot for the future, and I would say they are. So for now, I gotta say that this is just an incredible season for them. I am not trying to be a party pooper here and saying, oh, they won't win a Stanley Cup and that this is doom and gloom. They went from being worst in the division last year to very well being on their way to winning the division title. That is impressive. Like I said, you got Beniers, who looks like he could very well be a big part of the team going forward. Shane Wright, if he's able to find his footing and go from there, then they could just be in a great spot. I think a big thing for them going forward is trying to figure out, A, if they have that true starter on their team, and if not, what are they going to have to do to go out there and get him? Because that is the biggest thing right now that I think is holding them back from being in that true contender status, among other things. But side note, Daniel Sprong needs more minutes. Anyway, what do you guys think? Do you think that the Seattle Kraken are capable of winning the Stanley Cup? I think everybody could say yes, because you could get on a hot run, but we will see. Let me know down below in the comments. Also, please make sure to like this video if you enjoyed it. Subscribe if you're new. Everybody stay safe. Have a great night. And you go love hockey, alright? Goodbye, Brigadiers and Brigadettes. This is your captain signing off. Have a great night.